Hello everyone, welcome to class 9 in our cybersecurity foundation series. So today we're going to talk about detection lab with UFW, which is the uncomplicated firewall in Linux host defense. So our learning objective for today is that at the end of this class, students should understand what UFW is and how it protects a Linux system. Apply real-world firewall rules to block suspicion and traffic, monitor and lock dropped or allowed traffic using UFW and system logs. Stimulate basic attacks, example, port scan, SSH brute force, and block using UFW. Then use MITRE ATT&CK as a reference to map real-world threat to UFW control. So what is UFW? UFW, as the name implies, uncomplicated firewall, is a user-friendly interface for managing IP tables on Linux. So it is designed to simplify firewall configuration for host level protection. So it used to block or allow specific ports, IPs, and protocol. So what can UFW detect or block? It can detect unauthorized port scan. It can also detect brute force login attempts, incoming connection from suspicious IPs, unwanted services, or open ports. Basic UFW concept. So default policies. UFW default deny incomings, will deny all the incoming traffics. And the UFW default allows outgoing, will allow all the outgoing traffic. So another rule is allow rules. So apart from default policies, we have the allow rules. So allow SSH UFW to allow your SSH is just for you to state this rule: UFW allowed 22/TCP. So UFW allow like port 22, and then the protocol that you are going to allow is TCP. So the deny rule is block specific IP. Okay, for example, you want to block a specific IP, so you just come up with UFW deny from you state the IP address you want to block from. So log monitoring, UFW logs accept in varlog UFW.log or varlog syslog. So any of these two, you can see your UFW logs. So we talk about logs when you're doing SNOT. You can go and watch our video on SNOT. You really understand what logs is. And these logs can be forwarded to Splunk app using the Splunk forwarder. If Splunk forwarder is installed on that system, you can forward this log and then analyze this log in real time in Splunk dashboard. So this log should block packet, source IP, destination port, and etc. So the MITRE mapping framework for reconnaissance, this is the threat technique for reconnaissance, T1046. Can use it to show how to block ping, ICMP, or port scan, or brute force the read limits, or block repeated SSH attempts. So if somebody is trying a repeated SSH attempt in seconds, a lot of attempts in seconds, then that IP can be blocked from connecting back to the server. So remote services only allow specific IP for SSH. So you tailor down your IP to a particular system. So you should not allow all IP to connect to that server through SSH. Maybe it can be the admin system IP. It should only be allowed to connect to the system through SSH. So we are going to get over to our lab and then do some simple things. It's not going to be that difficult. We're just going to show you how to install the UFW, deny all the incoming traffic, allow all the outgoing traffic, and then you looked at the status of the UFW, and then maybe enable or disable the UFW, which is the uncomplicated firewall. So let's meet in our Ubuntu system. Okay, welcome to our practical lab where we are going to show some hands-on activities on UFW, which we say is an uncomplicated firewall. So UFW, we have already talked about it, that is a firewall that is used to block either the incoming traffic or outgoing traffic. It can block ports, it can block IP address, it can block some services and the rest. So we're just going to look at how to install the UFW app, how to enable, and how to also define some simple rules to block some incoming traffic, maybe the ping, the TCP, or even the HTTP traffic. So let's get to work. So to check if UFW is installed on your system, you can just try sudo UFW version. So you can see that UFW is installed in my system. I have UFW 0.36. So if you don't have UFW in your system, you don't have to worry. All you need to do is sudo apt install UFW. So you can see that UFW is already in the US version, so I don't have to install it again. If it is not installing, you can also upgrade your repository. Sudo apt update and then sudo apt upgrade. I don't want to go into that because I update my repository and I upgraded it recently, and it might take a little time to be done with that. So that is it for that. But you need to check the status of your UFW firewall. UFW sudo UFW status. Then UFW status. You can see that it is inactive, and then UFW has its man page, because you might not be able to have everything offhand. So you can always go back to your man page, or you can start with what is UFW. To tell you that UFW is a program for managing net filter and firewall. So all the filter in your server or in your host system, UFW can do a little bit with that. So UFW man UFW. So for you to look at the man page, you can see it has some option. The version, which we just use to check the version. The help command, which you can use to show help messages. The drive, don't modify anything. The enable, which you can use to do or to reboot. The disable, we can use to upload firewall and disable firewall from both. So you can see you can use to disable the firewall. So reload the firewall. Maybe if you define a rule and want to reload, default allowed, what deny, reject allowed. So you can change the port policy for traffic during direction, where direction is one of incoming, outgoing, or routed. So that the existing rule will have to be migrated manually when changing the default policy. So you see the rule syntax for more on deny and reject. So login as well, reset everything. So if you have messed up with your UFW rules, you can use reset to reset it. Then the status, to show the status of the firewall, to show the rule that is defined, to show the port it has blocked, or the port it has allowed, and the port that they open, the services that open as blocked. So the UFW status will show something like this. 2, which is your host system. That means your own network. It can be a server, it can be other clients in the net. It can be your server. Yeah, basically it's going to be your server. So any on the internet TH0. So let's say you have this IP 10.8.0.0.8 in this network. So you can add it to your UFW firewall. Then the action can be allowed, disallowed, limit, or deny any of the action. Then it can be from anywhere, from any external network. It can be from Ethernet 1. It can be from this IP. So anyhow you want to define it, it's okay with you. We talked about the rules in the theoretical section. So we're going to show some practical works here. So show reports, that is display information about the running firewall. So allow a rule, deny a rule, reject a rule, limit a rule, delete that rule, insert corresponding rule as rule number, and pre-append the corresponding rule to the top of the rule set. So you can just go through the man page. It's okay if you are starting out in configuring UFW firewall. It's good that you go through the man page. So for now, you're just going to clear that. So sudo UFW status, and then you can check our status that we are inactive. So if you want to enable a sudo UFW default. Oh, let's just start it first. Let's enable. So you can see that firewall is active and enabled on startup. So if you check sudo UFW status now, you can see that it is active. It is not inactive again. If you want to stop the firewall, very simple: sudo UFW disable, and then firewall is stopped and disallowed. So for now, I'm just going to enable it so that we can try some things. So I think that was enable. Okay, so we are there. For now, we don't have any rule, because if you check the status, we don't have any rule. It's only active. But we can, put in some rules so that you can see how to use those rules. Okay, so let's look at our material here. So when you're starting out newly, you're just going to deny all incoming. So the first rule that you should know is sudo UFW and default deny incoming. So default incoming policy change to deny. So it's going to deny all incoming traffic to this server. Then you can start with some pretty rule. If you want to allow outgoing, you can just do the same thing. Allowed outgoing. So it's also updated. So any outgoing traffic is going to be allowed by the firewall. So you can do some pretty things to allow SSH access from a trusted source. So this is the rule. So to allow any SSH traffic from an external or trusted source, we can do that using this rule. So you can see from the rule here, sudo UFW allow from this IP address. Maybe we trust this IP address, and then we know that, okay, this IP address is our administrator IP address that is going to be used to do some computation on the server. So from this IP address to any IP address in our network, and to port 22, the protocol is TCP. So let's add that rule. So rule has been added. So if you check our status now, you see that we have a rule here from incoming to port 22, and then the protocol is TCP. Then the action is to allow it from this IP address. So there are so many ways for you to define it. You can say sudo UFW deny this IP address 192.168.1.1. So there's so many ways you can add the rule. You can go with this as well. Let's say you want to add some pretty rules. Let's say this is our web server. So UFW let's deny any let's deny traffic from any IP to any IP in our server on port 80. And the protocol is TCP. So you can see the rule has been added, and then if you check the status, you can see we have the rule here. So and it is denied from anywhere. So anywhere the network is coming into our, anywhere the traffic is coming from into our network, connecting to this port 80, it is set to what, to deny. So thank you guys for watching up to this moment. Just give me a subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not done that. So it will help the YouTube algorithm to give this video to people that are good to watch this video. So thank you for watching up to this moment, and I hope to see you in our other series. Until then, one love.